Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So I had received few DMs. You guys wanted to know the update on the leaf propagation. So far everything is going quite well. My Graptovaria tituban is having a second yellow mother leaf, which is absolutely normal. The pups have reached a decent size, but I won't be shifting them from this tray. They are going to be staying in there for some more time. Whereas my Echeveria pulox, as you remember, it was only putting out roots, but now I do see a little bit of pups on them. And the best thing is my Echeveria Florence, the pups are looking quite good. It's going quite well. I do see few roots. Not all the leaves have roots, but few of them do. But overall, all of the leaf propagation is doing fantastic. The watering is also going as per schedule. Today is another schedule of watering because the soil is kind of dry, not completely, kind of dry. As I've said, you need to maintain a very slight amount of moisture. However, I haven't watered my Echeveria Florence yet because there is only one or two that have roots. Rest of them do not have roots, so I'll have to wait for the roots to appear. But others already have been getting the watering. There was another thing that I wanted to share with you guys because I have got this question: what to do when there are a lot of roots present above the soil. I would suggest do not push them inside. All you can do is add in a little bit more of soil. What you can do is just place them together, just reposition them, and then just add the soil on the roots. Now again, it depends, not all of the roots will get covered completely, which is absolutely fine. Even if one or two roots are buried in the soil over a period of time, the roots will navigate inside, so we do not need to be worried. Just add a little bit of soil on the root area and that should be okay. Now I usually tend to make a hole in the center so that it becomes a little easy for me to water. It's not a compulsion that you have to make a hole. I just do it because it makes watering much easy for me. But as I said, if the roots are above the soil, it's absolutely okay. You can see they are light pink in color. It's because they are exposed to the light. Whenever there is little bit of light and if the roots come in contact with light, they tend to turn slightly pink in color, which is absolutely normal. You do not need to be worried. So that's all about it. We can just leave them as it is. If you want, you can add in a little bit more soil and cover them up. But I usually tend to leave it as it is. The roots will navigate themselves into the soil. It usually happens with a couple of varieties. They tend to put their roots haywire, so we can't do much about it. While most of the varieties, they will directly put their roots into the soil. They will navigate themselves, but at times you will have a case like this wherein the roots are all haywire. You can see this one, the roots are all within the soil, so I do not need to be worried. The pups are also very healthy, and most of them are like that. So I usually tend to water them in the center because this makes things much easy for me. And right now guys, I'm not watering it completely because this is just an example. This is how I tend to water. So whenever you tend to see that the soil is dry, you have to do a complete watering like how we tend to do for our adult succulents. You have to water until the water starts passing through the drain hole. And remember, do not keep the soil mix dry for a very long time. Remember, these are just pups. They need a little bit more watering compared to the adult succulents. When I say more watering, it doesn't mean that you're going to keep the soil mix soggy wet. It has to have a very slight moisture but not soggy wet. Remember, if it's going to be soggy wet, then the roots will get rotted and that rot might even pass on to the pup. So you have to be extremely careful. Whenever you see that the soil is dry, just water it, water completely and wait until the soil completely dries. Now this thing works out really well because when you have a dent like this, you kind of get to know, or you get an idea whether the soil is dry or no, because you can literally check the hole and it is going to indicate whether there is any moisture, because usually when the media is wet, it's going to be darker in color, and when it starts to dry, it tends to get lighter in color. So this is a very good way to get an idea, especially if you are a beginner, to understand when the soil is wet and when the soil is dry. So I usually tend to do this. Again, as I said, I'm not doing a complete watering because otherwise the table is going to get wet. This is just an example. But if you are doing a watering, ensure that you're watering it until the water starts passing through the drain hole. Remember, if you're going to do incomplete watering, if you're not going to water until the water starts passing through the drain hole, it is going to be an incomplete watering, and there are chances that the soil will stay dry and most probably the roots will not get water. And remember, the roots of the pups are very fragile. They will get dried out much fast and they will turn crisp. Then it is very difficult to revive them back again. So be extremely careful while watering your leaf propagation. So now that you have a proper and a good idea of watering your leaf propagation, ensure that you're keeping them only in indirect but really bright light, no direct sunlight, and keep them in a place where there is a good amount of air circulation. This is going to help them grow much better. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.